Greetings, my name is Maya Blow, and I've been studying herbal medicine for about 16 years, formally, and practicing. But my first real magical encounters with plants was at the age of 4. I had an amazing, beautiful kindergarten preschool teacher who used to take me through the forests at nap time and teach me the names of the plants and the tracks of the animals in the creeks while everyone else was sleeping. I got this special treatment. So that was really the beginning for me of my love of plants and learning about the different plants, identifying them and how they work, and listening to the magic of what they offer to us for healing and friendship. And then fast forward, I did study herbal medicine formally at the California School of Herbal Studies, and I went on to study homeopathic medicine at the Institute of Classical Homeopathy in San Francisco. And about 6 years ago, my husband and I purchased some land in El Sobrante where we've been farming for the last 6 years. So I've had the amazing blessing to be able to learn the plants from books and from elders and mentors, but then also from themselves, and grow them and listen to them and understand them and work with them. And my main passion with plants is medicine making. That's what I love. I love to grow the plants, work with them, and then make medicines with them, and put lots of prayer and intention into the medicines that I make for the different people that I make them for. So on our farm, we grow lots of seasonal vegetables, we have livestock, and we have a very large herbal medicine garden as well. And we've been offering classes at our farm for the last 5 years, just like 1 or 2 classes a month. And now we're launching in the spring of 2017, we'll be opening a full-on herbal medicine school, herbal medicine and permaculture design school, the School of Earth Medicine. So we have a faculty of about 14 amazing, beautiful teachers. And our goal is to really shift as best we can to bring this knowledge to everyone and to not have it be exclusive by money or time. So really trying to not turn anyone away for lack of funds, offer lots of scholarships, work trades, make classes at times when people who are working or have families can really, they'll be accessible to them. So if you're interested in learning more about that, you can ask me more questions later. But I'd love to share more information about that with you. Thank you.
Cool. Yeah.
Okay, as I said, I'm Earth Mother Ialode, and like Maya, I learned very early, but mine was because I was a weird child. I'm a weird adult, but I was a loner. And the plants actually talked to me like the trees. I'm not going to go there because you'll probably call the white coats on me. Anyway, I listen. They're telling you something all the time. But if you're not in the right place, at the right time, you can't hear it. So when I was about 5, I was healthy, but I came from an environment where we had a lot of stuff and money and all that, but nobody was happy. So that I carried that in me, and I would end up listening to maybe a fennel root or a fennel plant, and I would go and chew on that and I'd feel better, or crack open a walnut and get that for rashes that I had, a black walnut, crack that open for rashes that I had from listening to the plants. So after about 10 times going to General Hospital in San Francisco because I was foaming at the mouth from eating something that should have probably killed somebody else, they said that my parents should give me some books or take me someplace. So my mother took me to the Congo. So that was the beginning. And then when we came back, my best friend's mother was my first medicine woman. She was awesome. She's still living. She's about 99 years old. She was incredible, and she would teach me stuff. She says, "You're not crazy. You can hear the plants. Listen to them." And my grandmother said the same thing. She lived to be 115. She would tell me, she would say, "Listen to those voices. Those voices are good." So I did that. So I was lucky enough to go to different countries and learn about the different plants. All these names that they've called me, I got that from other people, like in the medicine people in Australia, the medicine people in South Africa, the medicine people in Quito, Ecuador, and so forth and so on. And what I would do is make, like I would make stuff. I didn't know what I was doing then, but I would make stuff and it would be vibrant because my mother had cancer. She had cancer from 1949 to 1985. Because of the stuff I was making her, she lived a long time. She had a long fight with cancer, and a lot of people were sick in my family, and I just listened to the plants, put stuff together. When I went to college the first time, I got thrown out of classes a lot because the teachers were saying, the professors were saying one thing and I knew another, so I was always having to go before the Board of Regents to get back into the class, and I said, forget this, I don't want to do this. So I went to South Africa and studied at their school of medicine. I worked with tribes, with the shamans. I worked with them. They knew that I had it in me. It wasn't, the book learning is good, but a lot of people that I went to school with who had the book learning, when school was over, they couldn't go out and identify a plant. They just couldn't because they couldn't do it. And so I had the best, like her, I had the best of both worlds, three worlds. I had the wild places in the Bay Area, because there were wild places. I used to run around getting feverfew in quicksand. Yes, there was quicksand in San Francisco, and I would try to sink in it, but of course I couldn't do it.
Is that funny?
Learned from the plants, and I would go back and forth to other countries, and the only degree I got was in ornamental horticulture because I was back in the, 50s or 60s, because I'm almost 70, I don't remember. I think that was in the 60s. And I decided that I would make medicine like Maya, make medicine for people, mainly my family, because they were really, really, really sick. Like I said, we had a lot of stuff, and I don't think that's changed, especially for a lot of us today. We make money, we go to school to get a job, to make all this money to buy stuff. We don't do it to deal with one another. We just buy stuff. And everybody was sick, so I would make medicine, stuff for cancer. Like my two brothers, they died when they were in their 30s because they weren't eating right. They had diabetes and cancer, and at the dinner table, they would give me their vegetables and I would give them my meat. And every time I think about that, I want to cry because they succumbed to cancer because of their diet. And I don't call myself an herbalist because I only know about 5,000 to 7,000 plants. And when I go to other countries and work with the people, they don't say herbalist, they say plant medicine person, plant medicine man, plant medicine woman, because I include the foods with the herbs. Because if you're taking herbs, if you're not really taking care of yourself, the herbs are not going to do it. It's going to be a quick fix. You have to incorporate it all together. Does that make sense? Yeah. What else should I say? And I created this organization. I created this organization, CURE, Communities United Restoring Mother Earth, to help people remember their relationship to the soil, because we've forgotten. And what we do is, I've been all over the world doing this. I've got two gardens, two places in Fiji, South Africa, Richmond, Oakland, just different places. And we teach people how to grow their own food and medicine in a way that restores them as individuals, their families, their communities, the land, and the world, the nation. And we also make medicine. I have a line of products from healing salve to cleaning products, because we shouldn't be, all the stuff that we're using to clean, it's ridiculous. Whatever you put on your skin is going into you just like what you eat. And we teach people how to think about eating live foods instead of dead foods. And we won't even go into that, because you know what's living, because we're living. Most of you are living, aren't you? So you should be consuming living food, not dead food. What else? And when I was a little girl, I gotta go back to this. When I was a little girl, I had a really bad stomach ache, and the fennel, like I probably just said that, the fennel and the mint were calling to me, so I just chewed both of them, and I was fine. You guys know about feverfew, how that's good for headaches, migraines, and stuff like that. I had a lot of headaches because my mother, she cleaned with everything. She mixed them in one pot and was foaming and stuff, and it wouldn't even bother her. You know what I'm saying? It wouldn't even bother her. So I just we need more people here. We need all people here because we're on this planet together. Unless you come from another planet just to enjoy the day, we need to be here together to work this out, because my people are just, it's hard for me to talk to my folks and say, you gotta come out, you gotta learn this, you have to live differently. It's really hard. So we need to find a way to come together and do this so we all can be healed, or learn to heal, or heal together, because it's about the soil, whether you're growing herbs, food, making compost, whatever. It's all about the soil. In fact, I have 5 mango trees growing already. They're about, from the ground, they're about like that already. Isn't that awesome? All you have to do is put it in the soil, where the soil is 55 to 77 degrees, and you can germinate any kind of seed. That's about it, because I'll talk forever, because I'm really nervous. So, I'm quitting.
Good afternoon. My name is Doris Mason. I don't come from a herbalist background, but I do come from a harvesting background. A mother with 10 children. I'm the youngest of 10, and every summer after school, the kids would say, well, I'm going to go do this, I'm going to do that. But I knew what I was going to be doing. I was going to be planting, growing, and harvesting food for the winter. And so many people never think about that. They go to Safeway and all the grocery stores, and they, visit the farmer's market, but they never really know where the food comes from. So everything, growing up, everything that we ate, everything that we would gather for the winter, it was from our hands. And I think it's a travesty for people living in the city. Living in the country is, wow, it's so, it's humbling. It keeps me where I am, I'm growing up and becoming an adult, I didn't do the things that my mother taught me, or the things that we did for survival or maintaining. But one thing about when you sow and it grows and you harvest, it never leaves here. I can go back to a garden, back to a patch of land, and I can do what I was taught, or what I saw being done. And amazingly, as Elodie and the other lady was talking about, the plants and back to the earth and, medicine, I was around medicine doctors all the time. I can remember when I had warts on my hand, and one of the men in the community, he said, do you believe I can get rid of those? I said, he went into the woods, came back with some bark, kind of blew on my hand, put the salve on my hand, and I've never had a wart since then. So, I know that it works. I'm looking here at all the things that are on this pile, and growing up, this is what we grew. Collard greens, tomatoes, kale, radish, all of those things. Oh, it just goes on beyond. And I'm thankful today that I'm here, because it has brought me back to my beginnings. And it brings me back to know that, all the, like Elodie was saying, people just looking for stuff. Looking for stuff. You go to the supermarket, our children, we have done them a disservice to believe that the greens or the carrots or whatever the vegetables, even the chickens, the turkeys, the beef, all those things. Growing up, I never knew that a chicken came out of the supermarket. I thought that you'd go out in the yard and you'd catch him, run him down, chase him down, if you can. But my mother would take the chickens and she would put them up and she would feed them nothing but grain. And after about a week or two, then they were ready to, be killed. And, but once my mother sent me out and she said, all the kids, I'm the youngest of 10 children. She said, go out and get that chicken and I want you to wring his neck. I've never wrung a chicken neck in my life. I said, I can't do that. I caught the chicken and he was just pleading for his life, so I couldn't do it. My mother said, well, either you're gonna kill the chicken or, no, it was not you and me, I'm gonna do something else. I said, well, you can do something else because I could not kill that chicken. And, but, we gotta get back to eating fruits and vegetables from the earth. And we think about all the diseases and why? Because of, as Elodie said, it's the things that we put inside of us. It's not that what comes out of you, but it's what you put into you, that harms us. So I'm just happy to be here on this panel. I feel like I'm a great contributor, to this panel because I can go back and from what I've learned today and from what I've seen, what I'm seeing among you, I've tasted the stone soup. There's a book about stone soup. I'm tasting the stone soup and it's natural. I lost my teeth. And when I got dentures again, of course I had to take them out today. I get tired of them. But when I took them, I put my dentures in and I began to eat the vegetables. And the sweetness and the natural taste that came out of the vegetables, out of the, the lettuce, the radishes, the beets, the tomatoes, everything just came alive. So when I eat now, I eat and I'm like this. Because I'm tasting everything that I've eaten, So I'm just happy to be here today.
Yeah.
In the Iron Triangle, which is central Richmond, we have about 10, 15 gardens. We have the gardens, and they're in raised beds. But because of Chevron, General Chemical, and all the, the unhealthy environment around us, it really makes me not want to eat, even though it's grown, out of the earth. It really makes me fearful even to, eat it or cook it, so, okay, but, just because of our environment, and the things that's in our environments, in Richmond, Chevron has been in Richmond forever, and it has contaminated our soil, so I'm just frightful. Even though I see the green vegetation, I'm still hesitant to partake of it.
Okay, I want to address that also. I'm going to go back to West Oakland first of all. My family had one of those huge Victorians in West Oakland, and I remember I think it was the early 80s, people were saying, oh, the soil is bad, the soil is bad, the soil is bad, the soil is bad, it's going to kill you, blah, blah, blah. So I would go out and remember my guerrilla gardening days, and at 12 midnight to 3 a.m. I was hopping over people's fences and getting samples of soil. Nothing was wrong with most of the soil. The only thing that needed potassium, nitrogen and potash. Hello, there were a couple of places that, of course, it had lead because of peeling paint, but I could see that, so I didn't go and jump over those fences. I'm a good jumper. And then now it's nothing, hardly nothing but white folks there. And if the soil's so bad, why are they there? Now, coming back to Richmond, I remember the last fire that Chevron had. I was on a building and I watched that smoke go over. I have one of my garden sites is at First and Nevitt. I watched that smoke go over the mountains, and every 2 weeks I check. My soil is my color, and it's got so many worms in there. They're doing a symphony. You know, sometimes I have to cover my ears because I'm like, okay, I'm not feeling this today. I don't want you to talk to me. But the soil, you feed your soil. Nothing's wrong with my soil, and once in a while I go and rub the plants. No soot comes up or nothing. So I'm more worried of what they're selling at Trader Joe's and
Sprouts.
most of the food comes from someplace else, and the packaging is horrible. I was at Trader Joe's once with my son who was 13, and he had that look on his face. I thought, shit, what is he going to do now? And he says, Mommy, and I said, what, Corey? Mommy, what, Corey? Mommy, what, Corey? I want to know who Joe was trading with. That's the last time we left. That was it. We said it 3 times, and people left with us. I want to know who Joe is trading with. So we have to, the African American community, to me, it's hard because I've been trying to do this for 60 years. I'm almost 70. I've been trying to do this 60 years to get people. You can't make them. So that's why I'm in gardens, and I wrote grants. I said, oh, I'm gonna sell to people. Wrong. I give people food. I help them cook it. I show them how to eat raw, the whole bit, and that brings them. But I'm only one person, and I don't want to be the great black hope. You know, I don't want to be that. And it turns out that that's what's happening.
Trader Joe's and Pig Whole Foods use prison labor as well as Walmart.
Yeah, I know. That's why my son could feel stuff like that, and he said it. People followed us out. You know, we left our food there and everything. You know, because when you're coming from, food is coming from someplace, they have to spray it 1,000 times. But anyway, don't get me riled up. Don't get me riled up. You guys have any questions?
What do you say about the sugar in our foods? Some people are saying between like the Rabdula sugar and the artificial sweeteners, just what's your commentary about all the sugars in our food?
We don't need sugar.
Thank you.
We're growing our food. We're growing, even my red potatoes are sweet. You know, if you're growing your own food or you're going someplace where they're growing their food from wonderful soil that looks like me and darker, it's got sugar in it. Because sugar, any kind of sugar, it's all the same. I'm sorry. It's all the same. I don't care if it's cane, brown sugar, it's all the same. Even honey. Honey makes me want to go out and be a mass murderer. I mean, I'll eat a teaspoonful of honey. I'm like, and my sons would call me, Mommy, did you eat some honey? I said, yes. So I think we should, and it's not hard to get people to, well, it is hard to get people to change, but we got to do more education. But they have to come out, right? They have to come out to get the education. Is that education? Yes.
I was very touched. I think last week people were interviewing some of the former Black Panthers, and they were asking them why is that the FBI and all this COINTELPRO told them that they were the most dangerous piece for national security with the social programs, and they say, yeah, we were providing healthy food and all this preventive medicine and clinics, and they were saying, well, that was like back in the 60s and 70s. What do you think is now that program? And they were saying that it goes back to food again, to have healthy local food. So it's kind of the same. We just need to adapt. So I'm wondering if you'd like
to hear what I have to say? Yeah. Well, I ran with the Black Panthers. I didn't join them because I'm not a joiner. But anything that, I'm just going to say this, anything that we do, they're going to break apart. So I have 3 sons. They can't even go in a car together on a holiday because they get stopped for nothing. So nothing. So, but they've been trained and raised well because they're big guys. And my last Christmas, they were together and they got stopped. And my middle one said he thought that they were going to kill him. So whatever we do, they put a stop to it. I mean, that's it. You agree?
That's it.
We live in the life, sweetie. We're living the life.
We understand.
I have a question. Not for saying for you amazing, and give thanks, Ashe, for all your work and everybody sitting there.
You too.
I have a question for the greater audience and the folks
Thank
sitting
you.
here.
Thank you.
I'm wondering, as the title of this panel is about African American women and our herbs, and I look throughout the audience and I don't see very many. And so I want to come to the audience here and ask this question of you as an ally, as a friend, as a co-conspirator. What are you doing in your community to make sure that biodiversity, which is what the planet thrives on, is happening? What are you doing in your silo? Are you monocropping? Are you companion cropping? Where is your black friend here today to bring, to ignite and incite this information?
Right here.
I just want to ask that question.
Beautiful.
Question.
Well, I have a possible.
Asking you guys to the Bahia.
Right. So one thing we could do is offer, part of, we call it Classroom Under the Clouds. It's a workshop series that we have on Sundays. And it's a different topic every week. We can make it into like a workshop series. If somebody, if we have a African American herbalist who feels called to help us learn more, we can arrange something like that. We can make a workshop series specifically on that topic. So that's just an idea. And I don't know. I don't want to take the spotlight here, but I just offering that.
Who's us, really? That's the question.
Yeah.
Because,
That's a good question.
because like we've been offering classes for 5 years, and on a whole range of herbal medicine, organic farming, permaculture design, natural beekeeping, animal husbandry, and time again, even though like we're 2 black farmers who own land in the East Bay, time and time again, it's majority white folks who show up to our classes. Not that we're not grateful for that support, but like, how long do we want to keep on teaching white folks? Like, that's not our mission. Everyone's welcome at our farm. We want to work with everyone, but we want to work with people of color. We want to give this information. It comes down to access. It's like you can't force people, but at the same time, if there's no access, I look at the herb school I went to, I look at the Ohlone herb school, I look at like all these herb schools all around that have no people of color on their faculty, very few people of color in their enrollment. And why? Maybe the access, it's far away, it's heck of expensive, so there's all these different issues, and someone has to think about this, someone has to address that.
I have a comment on that. About 10 years ago, maybe about 12 years ago, I bought a house in Richmond with 3/4 of an acre of land, and I
What's right?
made a spot, a living, learning outside laboratory for plants, from eating to healing to medicinal to culinary, whatever. And what I did was I went out into the community. I'm colorful. I don't care. I know I don't match. I don't give a hootie pootie. I went out into the community, and Doris knows, I go to all events. I don't care what they are in Richmond. Every event that I can, I go to, and I say, this is me. Da, 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 da. So people of color came, but I made a mistake of saying, you can come anytime you want. And I remember, and I left my gate open in the sanctuary, and I remember one morning I came at 3 o'clock in the morning, they had my fire pit going, and then I said, okay, this is not what I'm talking about. But we have to go out and move the people. You have to move the people, because for me, I come from teachers and stuff, and I want to embrace everyone, because like I said, we're all in this together. It shouldn't be all this, it shouldn't be all that. That's how we can learn from one another. because I'm sure a lot of you don't really deal with. Do you deal with African Americans on a not many hands, not many hands? Okay, because we don't have that choice, right? We don't have that choice. Well, that's another topic.
That's another topic.
Well, one thing I'll say is that the conversation has to start somewhere. And sometimes when you're talking, when you're having conversations like these, they are very hard because we have learned so many different things. There's fear on one side, there's alienation on the other side. There's behavior things to look at. There's a lot of things to look at. But until we actually start, you know, we gotta stop fearing each other, you know, separating ourselves from each other. The things that we learn, we have to turn around and drop everything we've learned. And because one thing about this is beautiful here today, and if we just start today in being inclusive, you know, inviting people wanting to come in. I think we start with the children first. I think that's a real good platform to start with. If you start, you know, they garden in the schools, there's inclusiveness in the school. But if we start with the children and we teach the children, then after you teach the children, the adult has no other recourse but to come. So they can't. Yeah, I know. Well, you know, because I work in the school district, liaison in the community, and with my job, I could get the Latino group, but the African American group, it was hard. Even though I'm African American, it's just still hard to try to. But we have to always try to work for some type of a solution, you know, for the problems that, and for someone addressed about the Black Panthers. And I'm just going to be real, because that's, if I can't be truthful and I can't be real, then I can't be me. Anything that we do, and that we do it in a group, there's always a stigma and a fear to it, as though we're going to, you know, tear up everything, damage everything, you know. So we're going to have to probably start with the children, inviting the children, you know, going out in the community, you know, getting some of our things that we've learned, and then start to looking at seeing human beings and people as human beings and people. That's yeah, everybody, just one, because there is only all of us. You know, I bleed, you bleed. You know, I hurt, you hurt. I cry, you cry. So it's the same thing.
So I just wanted to say that you guys have moved me to tears. I recently took in 2 girls for 3 weeks in my home, and they were from a community that they get free lunch. And I would say, if I learned anything the 3 weeks that they were here with us, is that they need to take away the free lunches, because those kids don't even know where their food comes from, and they don't know how to cook it, and they don't know, and these are kids that they go home and there's no one to cook their meals. And how are these kids supposed to come as adults to your classes when they were never taught to work hard or appreciate their food? I took the girls to the farm and they picked a piece of broccoli and they ate it. And the rest of the week, I sat them down at the kitchen and I put it in their macaroni and cheese, because that was the only thing that they would eat at my house. And they wouldn't eat it. And I'm crying right now because I spent 3 weeks just like trying to get some vegetables in these kids, you know? And I don't get it. Like, what am I doing wrong? Why would you eat it standing in the field and you won't eat it at my table. It tastes better out there. You know, like, people don't realize, we think about the Black Panthers and we think about these big programs, they don't realize that sometimes it's as simple as taking a kid to a field.
And I don't really think that we can go anywhere unless we really have an honest dialogue about the fact and calling it what it is. It's white supremacy is why we don't have access to the things that we need. So, which the Convergence tried to, you know, make it more accessible, and that's great that we're thinking about these things, but it was still very overbearing with some of the privileged nature of some of our white friends. You know, even at the Convergence, when we're trying to be cognitive of these things. So what are the solutions? The solutions are what the Black Panthers were doing and can and have the ability to do. So we go directly to the youth. I am an aspiring farmer, aspiring landowner, those things, and those things are going to come in fruition. And I want to have people come to my farm, and I want mostly people of color to come to my farm because I know the benefits of being independent from your slave master, right? So when we start targeting children and having political educational, this is what we need, right? Political educational panels for children, they do affect the minds of their parents. My daughter, on her own at 5 years old, decided she was gonna be a vegetarian because it was the right thing to do, right? But I would tell her, something's wrong with you. Who's putting these ideas in your head? What's wrong with you? And she said, no, Dad, I can think for myself. These kids can think for themselves. So she turned my overbearing, patriarchal ass around and made me see that, no, this kid really can't think for herself. She hasn't ate meat since. You dig? So I really hate to be a person that's gonna say something and bounce too, because I'm finna go see her perform because she's a featured artist today at an event. So what I really want us to get to though, because there is more white faces here or whatever you classify yourself at, I don't even really, I mean, whatever you classify yourself as, it is imperative that you go and really be an ally. You know what I'm saying? So those scholarships really need to be scholarships. They don't need to be partial bullshit. It's bullshit. That's bullshit. And if this is like this permaculture thing is about abundance, we need to act more abundantly, right? You dig? So we need to grab these kids. I want to get some kids to these farms. So how are we going to get these kids to the farms? So if that means we're going to knock it on some of these parents that are maybe ill-equipped themselves because of drug addictions and other issues of white supremacy, right? So we need to just give them people a pass a little bit and grab their kids and put them in a safe environment in a field so they can know how to one day, right, support and give back to their community, right? That's the ideas, right? So it's fully interdependence from a system that is about the opposite of life, right? And I really, really want to thank y'all, and I appreciate y'all's panel today. Thank you. I always love to see strong sisters doing what they do.
So I just want to respond. Thank you so much. It was really wonderful being at the convention with you too. It's a really big difference for brown-skinned children to go to a farm with all white people as opposed to go to a farm where the people who are farming look like them. It's a really big, I think that's a key. So, yeah.
What I've been doing quickly is inviting, I have workshops at the sites, and I invite the kids. I know a lot of times they are not eating tomatoes or something, or zucchini or spaghetti squash or radishes or whatever in their homes. So we do a roasting thing on the grill with avocado wood, because I show them that we're not supposed to be using carcinogen coals either. And one little girl almost got sick eating almost roasted tomatoes. We didn't do them so they were salted like pot liquor, but she loved it, and that's what we do, like every 2 months, and the kids want to come out and help. Yeah, you gotta put yourself out there. Yeah. Everybody's not like me climbing trees and hopping fences to get plants. You know,
They don't have trees. They don't. The trees are here, and in the cities, there are no trees. You know, I work for a park. I don't know if any of you are familiar with Pogo Park. I work for Pogo Park. Thank you, Emily. I work, and this is a park we took away all the just standard play equipment. It's a park, 8th and Ripley in Richmond, and where the children can come and they can be creative, you know, and they can just learn the things in it. And actually, and I'm gonna bring church here today, everything that you should know, it's already in you. You just got to really, as ELO just say, the trees was talking to her. You know, they talking to her now. You know, we're gonna call the red coats or the white coats. But you know, everything that you need, it's in you. It's finished. It's already done. But I think I'm just forming a cooperation. It's called Another Chance Enterprise. And I've always purchased 15 passenger vans. I can't say bleak, it's going to be devastating. So I don't know how many days. Are you just here on Sundays through the week?
Sunday through Thursday.
Sunday through Thursday, so we can bring children here.
Yeah.
They can work in the fields, grow in the fields. Okay, all right.
We actually have children's daycare kind of program set up.
Okay. But see, these things need to be known in the community. They need to be known in the schools. Go to the school district. You know, I don't know. You go to school districts, elementary. Yeah, go to school districts. Right. But the kids have to be transported. And I'm not just talking about African American children. I'm talking about all children. Bring the children in the garden. And I'm telling you what, you guys remember the Fields of Dreams? That if you build it, they will come. You're building it, and so now if the information is out there, you know, and you get concerned persons in the community, everybody's not going to hear. Everybody's not going to, you know, bring a child. But if I'll pledge today to start bringing some children and talking about out here, bringing out in the garden, because
people come through there.
Okay. So what's that?
I'm loud, it's okay. Thank you all for having this conversation, everyone that's a part of it too. So I teach middle school right now in Oakland, and I'm piloting a program. It's a permaculture program based on like social components of it as well as being in the garden and restorative justice and all different things. And it's hard when you're working with, especially like the age group of middle schoolers is just very, very challenging. And especially like low-income children of color that have not had access to these things. And something that I think that I'm hearing said a lot is like bringing the youth in is incredibly powerful. Invite them. But to me, what I want to just offer right now for you to think about, everyone, is like not just invite them, meet them. Where are they at? So like my kids, like right now on Wednesdays, they're all African American. All the boys that actually like only play sports every Wednesday now only come with me by them, their choice, because I brought in like how can we like think about permaculture and hip hop? What do you like? You like basketball? Let's play on the court for 2 weeks straight before we like get into any of this stuff. And while we're like playing basketball, like we're talking about politics, we're talking about like food, like I'm just bringing them things from the garden and feeding them. And like it's now been like I've met them that they're now like wherever you go, I'm going. And I think like it's a really important thing to like keep thinking about. It's not about, hey, come on, like come with me, because like someone that's not interested is not gonna come. Like you can ask me to go to a concert that I might not be interested in the music, I'm not gonna go. Like if I don't have a call and feel to want to be there, like meet them where they're at. Yep. And don't give up. Like stop just like thinking about what you want to come out of it and think about how you can get them there with you by like also doing what they like. And like that's the thing that I see most people don't do, and that's why less and less people are where we want them to be. Like meet them.
Let's have a hand for these fine ladies. We're going to have another seminar on food justice in about 10 minutes. And you're all welcome to stay.
And I'd like to say, put the mental equivalent in your brain of abundance. That means diversity, all the above. Mental equivalent. Think that. Okay? All right. Thank you.
Thank you.